Good evening and welcome to the 9 p.m. news telecast of the prestigious channel of Sri Lanka. I'm Charita Binipurarachi.
And I'm Natalia Viravardhana. First, let's take a look at the headlines for tonight. His Holiness the Pope bids farewell to the world. Veneration of the Sacred Tooth relic ends tomorrow. Schools closed in Kandy will be reopened on Monday and Tuesday. Results of the GCE Advanced Level exam released. The President invites Tamil diaspora to invest in the nation-building program. Examination on recruitment of graduates for several courses in the health service to be held at 4 centres tomorrow. A youth injured in a shooting in Katunayaka. Exchange of fire once again in the Indo-Pakistani border. The funeral of His Holiness Pope Francis was conducted at 1:30 p.m. Sri Lanka time today.
Minister of Foreign Affairs and Tourism Vijay Herath attended the funeral representing the government of Sri Lanka. The government has taken measures to declare a day mourning in connection with the funeral ceremony of His Holiness today. The final rites of the Pontiff is a spiritual leader of more than 1 billion worldwide Catholic community was held at the St. Peter's Basilica at 10 a.m. Vatican time today. The sealed coffin of His Holiness was carried in procession to the St. Peter's Square by clergymen of the Orthodox Church and cardinals. The main service was delivered by Dean of the College of Cardinals, Reverend Giovanni Battista Re. The service has come to an end with a commendation and a prayer which signified the handing over of His Holiness Pope Francis to the Holy God in the appropriate manner. The ritual, known as Novemedials, also symbolized the beginning of a 9-day period of mourning on behalf of the late Pope. A service will be conducted during each day of mourning period on behalf of His Holiness.
Confiteor de omnipotenti et vobis fratres, quia peccavi nimis cogitatione, verbo, opere et omissione. Mea culpa, mea maxima culpa. Ideo precor beata Mariam semper Virgine, peccatis nostris perducat nos ad vitam aeternam.
The funeral ceremony was organized in the most simple manner according to a final request of late prelate. The funeral ceremony was attended by thousands of devotees, religious leaders and heads of state. The notable attendees included United States President Donald Trump and his wife, French President Emmanuel Macron and Crown Prince William representing King Charles III of the United Kingdom, as well as the UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Sri Lanka Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Employment and Tourism Vijay Herath has also paid his final respect to the remains of late Holiness Pope Francis at the St. Peter's Basilica in the city of Vatican. According to the final request of His late Holiness, the body was laid to rest at the St. Mary's Maggiore Cemetery in Vatican.
Following the funeral ceremony at 10 a.m. Italian time in St. Peter's Square, attended by about 170 heads of state and dignitaries, the body of the deceased Pope was taken into the Church of St. Mary Major for burial. More than 4,000 foreign journalists attended the funeral of His Holiness Pope Francis. Dinesh Kundatna reports from National Television from Vatican City.
As a result of the declaration of a day of national mourning in Sri Lanka on account of the funeral ceremony of His Holiness Pope Francis, the national flag was flown half-mast in government as well as private institutions in the country.
The veneration of the Sacred Tooth Relic program in Kandy is scheduled to end tomorrow. Massive crowds have flocked to the Maligawa premises today as well to worship the Sacred Tooth Relic. This is a commentary from Asangani Ratna of the National Television from Kandy. The veneration of Sacred Tooth Relic has entered its last 24 hours today, with thousands of devotees are still in long queues, hoping to pay their homage to the Sacred Tooth Relic of Lord Buddha tomorrow. Kandy city is still full of devotees. Our correspondent Asangani Ratna said that people expressed high hopes of paying homage to the Sacred Tooth Relic tomorrow. Security forces and social organizations are continuing to provide food and other necessary items to the devotees who are waiting in queues. Devotees remain in queue despite heavy rains experienced in the Kandy city this morning.
ගේ දළදා දැක්ම හවස 5:30ට අවසන් වෙනවා. ඒ වෙලාවේ ඉඳලා මේක පටන් ගන්නවා. ඒතරම් බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා 28 වෙනිදා හවස් වෙනකොට මේ ක්ලීන් කැන්ඩි ව්‍යාපෘතිය අවසන් කරන්නට මහනුවර නගරයේ පාසල් 61ක් වහලා තිබුණා. 24ක් අපි සඳුදාම ශිෂ්‍යයන්ට ආයෙන්න කියලා කියනවා. නමුත් ඉතුරු 37 අපිට සුද්ධ කරන්න සිද්ධ වෙන නිසා අපි මේ පාසල් පටන් ගන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙන අඟහරුවාදා කියන 29 වෙනිදා.
And meanwhile, a program of the Clean Sri Lanka project for the appropriate disposal of garbage was conducted for the 9th day today in parallel to the veneration of the Sacred Tooth Relic. The program was conducted centering on the 3 entrance routes of the Sri Dalanda Vandanava. A special feature of the program was at the contributions extended by several voluntary teams comprising of officials of the Clean Sri Lanka Secretariat and the manner to create an attitudinal trend among the general public regarding disposal of refuse in a proper manner. The coordination of the general public was also accorded extensively. Similar programs were conducted in the past 5 days in the vicinity of Sri Dalanda Maligawa premises.
The results of the 2024 GC Advanced Level Examination have been released. Accordingly, the results will be available on the department's official website www.donets.lk. The examination was conducted throughout the island in 2,312 centres from the 25th November to 31st of November 2024. 274,361 candidates sat for the exam, and out of which 177,588 became eligible to apply for university admission. The results could be downloaded via the websites www.donets.lk and www.results.exams.gov.lk. Applications could be submitted for scrutiny of answer papers from the 2nd to the 16th of next month. The Sri Lanka Examination Department says re-scrutinized results will be issued to the respective principals.
And meanwhile, President Anura Kumara Dissanayake invites overseas Tamil diaspora to engage in investments to rebuild the country. The President further points out that Sri Lanka, which had been previously divided into races by certain previous rulers, is now in the process of uniting. He made these remarks addressing a public rally in Pudukkottai today. The meeting was organised with the aim of consolidating victory of the NPP on the forthcoming local government elections. Large crowds was present at the meeting as undertaken the theme Jai Niyatai Gama Ampatai. The President further said on this occasion that for the first time a government which treats all equally has come into being in Sri Lanka. President Anura Kumara Dissanayake said that Sri Lankans have remained divided as Sinhalese, Tamils and Muslims. However, for the first time in history, the Tamil community in the north have joined joined their Sinhala brethren in the south in forming the government at the last general election. The Muslim community in the north also joined hands with the southern community in forming the National People's Power government. It has also been a considerable time now since the conclusion of the war. However, the problems created by the war remain. The President further said that the government will take maximum measures to resolve these problems. The bridges that have been fallen with have to be restored. The Wattakal road construction will commence on the 8th of next month. The government has set aside a sum of 1,000 million rupees for the project. Construction of the Kokilai bridge is also important. The recent budget has also allocated funds for the reconstruction of the Palali and Kokilai bridges. All must get together to build the country. A grand national cultural ceremony will be conducted in October this year. There are great expectations to construct an international cricket stadium in Jaffna. An international cricket match is expected to play during the first tenure of the present government. Although the present generation was engaged in a war, the war should not be handed over to the next generation. This is the task of the NPP government. An industrial zone will be set up in Mankulam. The president invites the Tamil diaspora to invest in this venture at this country they were born.
Professor Priyanka Dhanusingha says that the special evaluation on the government's measures to carry forward the economic reconstruction agreed upon with IMF is most exemplary. He further points out that according to this evaluation, the process relating to further economic stability of Sri Lanka is being carried out methodically. Professor Priyanka Dhanusingha of the Colombo University said that Sri Lankan representatives and the IMF have arrived at the final and fourth stage of the debt facility issue. It has been reported that Sri Lanka has been successful in fulfilling the targets entrusted upon the country by March of this year. It has also been reported that the country was able to fulfill other targets in April. The IMF has appreciated Sri Lanka's new government achievements. The government has focused special attention over the continuation of economic reforms as agreed with the IMF. These achievements demonstrate to the world the fact that Sri Lanka is gradually restoring the economy and establishing economic stability.
The coordinating courses for the recruitment of graduates for the posts of medical laboratory technicians and physiotherapists of the Allied Health Sciences 2024 will be held tomorrow. The exam is scheduled to be commenced at 10 a.m. at 4 centres. The examination will be conducted by the examination branch of the Ministry of Health and Mass Media. The examination centre and the post of Primary Nurses College, the Colombo Nurses College, Kadana Nurses College and the Council Street Maternity Hospital. The Ministry says that all applicants have been provided with the admission cards via email. Stay tuned with more local stories after this break.
This Sunday, Ceylon Today brings you Francis, the People's Pope, a special magazine celebrating the inspiring life of Pope Francis. Discover the story of the humble man who changed the church. Available at nearest newspaper agent. Don't miss it.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy, Nava Vasarak Veva.
This Sunday, Ceylon Today brings you Francis, the People's Pope, a special magazine celebrating the inspiring life of Pope Francis. Discover the story of the humble man who changed the church. Available at nearest newspaper agent. Don't miss it.
Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Welcome back with more local stories. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa says that SJB is dedicated to people's service without or with having administrative power.
He was addressing a public meeting in Mavathagam yesterday. This was another meeting of the series of meetings organized by the SJB targeting the local government election victory. Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa said that some parties fear that they would be deprived of funds because these parties got used to work with having power. However, SJB will work for the people with or without having power.
National organizer of the Sri Lanka Podujana Perabunda Namal Rajapaksa says a red flare will be a signal to the government at the forthcoming local government poll. He was addressing a public meeting of the party in Badulla yesterday. Several candidates of the SLPP contesting the election was present at the meeting. Parliamentary Rajapaksa said that America is changing its tax policy and questioned whether the government has a plan to face this threat. An all-party meeting was convened and opinions were sent in a letter to President Trump. Now they are waiting for a reply. Every country is engaging in trade agreements with other countries.
Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya says the correct group for the village should be selected at the forthcoming local government polls in order to fulfill people's needs. The Prime Minister has made these remarks at a public meeting held yesterday. The rally was organised in Minuwangoda to consolidate the victory of the candidates of the NPP contesting the upcoming local government election. Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that from birth to death, all the aspects of a person's life handled by local government institutions. However, to this day, these institutions lack proper systems even to provide the people with basic facilities. The government is committed to work with a proper system free of fraud and corruption and managing every rupee carefully and attentively. You elect fellow members who stand firmly against fraud and corruption through 2 decisive elections to ensure that the funds allocated for rural development to reach the people. The local government institutions closest to the villages must also be clean and transparent. That is why this election is so important to us.
President Ananda Kumara Dissanayake stated that no nation in the world has achieved development by neglecting its cultural values and traditions. He emphasized that the current government is committed to rebuilding the country by reinstating the moral principles and ethical systems that have slowly diminished over the years. The President made these remarks participating in the opening ceremony of newly built Bodhi Prakara with golden fence at the historic Rangiridambul Raja Mahavihare. Upon arrival at the temple, President Dissanayake formally opened the newly built Bodhi Prakara and offered the first flower tribute. He also unveiled the commemorative plaque marking the opening of the Bodhi Prakara. The ceremony was attended by Mahasangha of both the Malvathu and Askeriya chapters, including the chief incumbent of the Rangiridambul Raja Mahavihare, Dr. Kodagama Bangala Nayaka Thera. President Ananda Kumara Dissanayake said that 2,100 years is a significant period in history. It is not desirable to find out how many generations of people lived in the vicinity of the Raja Mahavihare during this period. President has expressed belief that Raja Mahavihare has conducted the biggest service to the ancient village in Dambulla. This is a sacred area which had provided benefits to many generations of people. This is true in context that today's situation as well. The President said that Dambulla town is a place where he always visits. He said that he used to stay at the residences of his friends in Dambulla quite frequently. Most of the residents are known to him personally. He said that he is aware of the fact that there is a large number of people who with most difficulties maintain their lives in lands owned by Rangiridambul Raja Mahavihare. Some of these residents say that the Nayaka Thera of the Vihare has granted the opportunity for them to cultivate the lands without expecting anything from them.
Minister Dr. Nalindra Jayatissa says that measures are underway to develop the district hospitals of Vavuniya, Mana, Mullathil and Kilinochchi with the aim of providing excellent and efficient health service. The minister had made these remarks upon conclusion of a special observation tour in several hospitals in the Vavuniya district. The purpose of the minister's tour was to upgrade the humanitarian and physical resources in order to extend an optimum patient treatment service for the residents in the Vavuniya district. Out of the 53 government hospitals providing tertiary health treatment facilities, 7 do not come under the administration of the Line Ministry. Other than the 3 hospitals in Horana, Avissa, Vella and Gampaha, which come under the category, the rest being the 4 main hospitals in the northern province. Directors of health services, directors of hospital and medical staff also participated in the tour where the practical problems encountered in hospitals were discussed. Minister Dr. Nalindra Jayatissa said that steps are being taken to recruit nearly 300 nursing officers. 500 more job opportunities could be provided in 4 months' time. There are 800 job aspirants in the list. They are graduates. With their recruitment, vacancies in the cadres could be fulfilled to an appreciable level. 910 midwife
appointments have also been provided. In several months from now, 10,000 attendants will be recruited to the health service.
And meanwhile, the first ever media fest organized by the Sri Lanka India Media Friendship Association was inaugurated today at the Taj Samudra, Colombo by Acting High Commissioner of India to Sri Lanka, Dr. Satyanjal Pandey, and Minister of Mass Media and Health, Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa. It was held under the theme Navigating the New Media Landscape Together. The two-day event will focus on trends such as AI in journalism, mobile journalism, media monetization, disinformation and content creation. The feast features keynotes, panels and networking sessions bringing together experts from India and Sri Lanka, including Chief of the Feast Prof. Palki Sharma, Siddhant Sewal of Real Media Network, Shailesh Shekhar of India Today magazine and media specialist including L.V. Krishnan of the TAB Media Research.
We have to look at media as a strategic asset, right? And countries have big budgets for defense. 2% of GDP, 4% of GDP. But we don't look at media in the same way, at least in this part of the world. In the West they have. You know, the BBC was set up to send a certain message about the British Raj to their colonies. These are powerful, well-funded platforms, and they're doing the job that they were set up for. I'm not taking away from the work that many journalists do there, but I can also see the larger purpose that some of these platforms serve. So we have to invest in our media. I said it in the past that when the New York Times writes something about some of our leaders, it becomes a matter of parliamentary debate. But when our newspapers write something, nobody bothers. We don't have that edge. We need to build it to be able to put our point across.
A meritorious ceremony to spread white sand in front of the historic Jayasree Mahabodhi was held today. The event, organized by the Bank of Ceylon for the 42nd occasion, was held under the patronage of Chief Incumbent of the Atamasthana, Venerable Dr. Pallega Mahemaratana Thero. Chairman of the Bank of Ceylon, Kavinda Dizoisa, after meeting of Venerable Pallega Mahemaratana Thero, venerated the sacred Jayasree Mahabodhi and sought blessings. After religious observances held under the direction of Chief Incumbent of the Lanka Rama Vihara, Venerable Ralapanave Dhammajoti Thero, laying of white sand in front of the sacred Jayasree Mahabodhi has taken place. A large number of devotees and the Mahasangha have attended the ceremony.
And now let's move on to some more equal news items in brief. Two unidentified persons believed to have arrived in a motorbike was reported to have shot at a person's house in Hinatiyana in Katanaika Police Division this morning. The police says that the victim was admitted to the Minuvangada Police and later transferred to the Gampaha District Hospital for further treatment. The victim is a 29-year-old person and T56 firearm was reported to have been used in the shooting. A truck travelling at the Vallavai Tanamalville road was reported to have went off the road and stormed into a shop in Dunugambahera area. One person was killed and 3 injured in the incident. The sister of the founder of the Janata Vibhukti Peramuna Rohana Vijayveera has passed away this morning. The remains of Patabandigeddon Chitrani Vijayveera are being kept at her residence number 208 Muthupalamavata Pallikudava. Thankful funeral will take place on the 20th of this month. Bakmaha festival of the Sirimet Bodhidhamma School of Bodhirukkarama Vihare Oruvilla Aturugiriya was conducted recently under the patronage of the chief incumbent of the Vihare, Venerable Sri Kapunakamale Gunyanaswara Thera. A Bak festival of the Bahanama National School Monaragala was held yesterday, featuring cultural events for Sinhala and Tamil communities. The invitees included District Secretary of Monaragala SSP. Stay tuned with international news after this break.
Prima Kottumi, hot and spicy Nava Vasarak Veva.
Welcome back with international stories. And India and Pakistani troops exchanged gunfire for a second straight day after gunmen killed 26 people in Indian administered Kashmir Flagam earlier this week, with India blaming Pakistan for the attack. India and Pakistan trade small arms fire along 740-kilometer border of the line of control separating the India and Pakistani areas of Kashmir for a second night without any casualties. Indian authorities have issued a ban on live coverage of the military and security operations to hunt down the suspect in the Flagam shooting. Indian police and security forces detained 175 people across Indian administered Kashmir and also found a terrorist hideout containing several rifles and ammunition. Indian ministers lashed out against Pakistan and its Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, who said he wants a neutral investigation into the attack.
And more on foreign stories. At least 4 people have been killed and 500 more injured in a massive explosion at a port near the southern Iranian city of Bandar Abbas. Port Shahid Raji, where the explosion took place, is Iran's largest commercial port, located on country's southern coast close to the Strait of Hormuz, a major shipping channel for oil cargo. The blast took place at the Shahid Raji port this morning, blowing out the windows of nearby office buildings and causing the roof of at least one building to collapse. Footage showed people fleeing from the wharves at the time of the explosion and others lying wounded on the street. There are also reports of people being trapped under the collapsed walls. A fire is still raging at the container terminal site and pictures show huge clouds of black smoke blowing over the wharves. According to the reports, witnesses say the explosion occurred after a fire broke out and spread to unsealed containers storing flammable materials, most probably chemicals. And we are with sports news. The Isipatana Vidyalaya Colombo convincingly beat Sri Sumangala Vidyalaya Kandy in an inter-school under-19 knockout rugby tournament match played at the Royal College grounds in Colombo today. The Isipatana team were ahead 30-0 at close at first half. In the second half as well, Isipatanians collected 31 more points, while the Sumangala players failed to score even a single point. The final score 61-0. The winners scored their points through 4 goals, 6 conversions and 1 penalty. With this victory, Isipatana team has become eligible to enter the quarterfinals of the tournament.
And with that sports update, we'll be wrapping up tonight news. Do it tomorrow at the very same time. I'm Charita, signing off with Natalia. Stay safe. Good night.
Good night.